Okay, I'm going to do something different here tonight. I am going to disassemble, well this isn't the different part. I'm going to disassemble this Enya 46 4-cycle on camera, but the thing that's different about it is I've got two cameras. I've got this camera and I've got the camera overhead, and one is kind of tilted forward to give me a slight different angle here, and the other one is just straight overhead. So it's going to be challenging to see if I can keep all of this right in the center of the screen the whole time I'm doing this, but that's what we're going to attempt to do. And I'm doing this on video specifically for my buddy Jeremy, because he was interested in seeing a disassembly of this engine. I wasn't really planning on disassembling this engine because I've disassembled Enya 4-strokes numerous times. So I just took the exhaust off of here. So one of the things that's missing from this engine is there should be two split collets here that hold it tight. So with the absence of that, one of the things you can do if you don't have those and you can't find replacements is either wrap it with Teflon tape to give it a little bit more friction in here, or you just have to really tighten that thing down much more. So that's kind of the deal with that. And I'll just kind of talk a little bit about this engine as I go along here. At least here, if I do it, see, when I did it up like that, and the upper camera focused on the butt end of that driver. This one is, I think it's just going to stay focused on what I'm doing here. This is kind of an old school thing, reminding me back of when I was first doing these. I think the first engine I actually did a disassembly of on camera using a webcam on a laptop was an Enya FS90. I don't think those need to come off right now. That was so long ago. It seems like so long ago. So this is just a press. It's got two flats on there. It should just come off. It doesn't have a tapered collet. Oh God. I'd like to be able to just pull that thing off, but I know it's not going to want to cooperate at this moment in time. Let's just go on to taking the carb off. And I've got this camera here zoomed in pretty tight, so maybe you can see things better. This screw here that holds the carb on has got a lock washer on it. This is the only thing that's kind of weird about this Enya 46 and the 53 is they have this little metal bracket that you can take off here that's actually not a part of the, you can take it off and lose it. And then of course this intake manifold seal thing is just a little piece of rubber, and if that ever gets destroyed or damaged, then you got to go and try and find another one of those. So I do happen to have a an entire gasket set for this engine coming from a man in Florida who specializes in selling a lot of Enya parts. His name is actually Bobby Brooks. I don't think he watches my videos, so he probably won't get that shout out, but that's alright. I think I'll go ahead and do this. And then I didn't have that in the center of the frame. I gotta really remember, keep this thing here in the middle. I'm not expecting to see a whole lot on the top of this piston because I think this engine is in rather good shape. Make it come right up. Here we go. Two push rods, rocker arms. I'm not going to do anything to disassemble those things at all. No need. Push rods for these engines are symmetrical. There's no up and down. It's just symmetrical. Let's go ahead and don't need that anymore. See if these head screws are going to give me any grief at all. So this screw here that held the rocker cover or rocker arms on was the rear head screw, in addition to holding those things in place. It's nice to see that these are nice and snug. See, the thing I kind of like about this little camera setup here too is the one that one didn't seem to look tight. Is that this one is below my eye level, so I'm not craning my neck up to look at the LCD. I can just look straight ahead and see if I'm screwing up and not keeping the image or the subject in the viewfinder. The other one I have to look up and crane my neck, and that's rather distracting. It should be done. It should be coming off here. Those of you that have watched my channel for many years will remember I always did one of these things where when I take the head off I say, oh look, and here's the reveal of what the valves and the top of the piston look like. That was always kind of one of my big things to do. Okay, all the screws are off. Here's the big reveal. Look at that. Look at that. Watch how this will just wipe right off. Oops, I gotta hold it up here. Well, maybe it's not going to wipe off as easy as I thought, but either way, that is not a super high time engine by any means. I wonder if that gasket kit I ordered has these seals here. I think it should. It said every seal. So that would be nice if it really does have every seal. So let's look at the valves. Look at that. Beautiful. I don't know, was there a shim here? I don't know. Nice valve action. Both valves are the same size on this engine. Here's these seals. Let's just pop these guys out too, because when this goes in the ultrasonic, I don't want those to get lost. Because I will be ultrasonic bathing this engine. Now I don't really need to pull this thing off at this moment. Let's just take this front housing off. Do I want to take the front or the rear off first? Does it really matter? Oh, see, I was off center there. I don't really know that it matters which one I do here. Pretty sure that this is the 46 4-cycle 2, the updated engine. I had sent Bobby Brooks, Shitterman on eBay, a message asking him the difference, and he basically said what I already knew. He didn't really help me out that much. He said the newer one has larger bearings. I was like, okay, well, so how do you tell that if you have them side by side? Is it visibly that big of a difference that you can visibly tell that their bearings are larger? I still say you go by where the breather's placed. I think the original one, the first one had it here, and then this one has it here. So this is the part that sucks, because this is always kind of one of those. Oh, the wind's really starting to pick up out there. One of those weird things where you kind of have to get something in here and just start kind of working this thing loose gently. Wow. It's really blowing up out there. Because see, this is hard to just grab and pull on if you don't kind of start gently. And then what I'll do is I'll get a razor blade. And once I get a little opening in there, I'll just kind of go and stick that blade down in there. And hope that when I'm doing that, I'm not hurting the gasket. But not like it matters because I got a gasket set coming. It's just you have to sit here and kind of, that wasn't what I wanted to use. You have to kind of wiggle this thing off. You know, I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it. I'm just trying to wiggle it off a little bit here. I don't know if this is easier done with the, I think it's probably easier done with the front housing on because I can at least grab it. And this is always one of those things where it takes some time. You just gotta sit here and do this kind of stuff, and I don't like doing it. This is not. See, I'm getting it there. It's more of a suction type thing. It's not a rust holding it in place. It's more of a just kind of a suction. And I'll kind of try and explain that to you if I get this thing off in a reasonable amount of time. Just gotta keep wiggling it, and just slowly it'll come off. But this is the part that gets dangerous because if you slip with these razor blades in there, you could end up leaking red stuff really easily. Wow. There we go. I felt that surface tension break loose there. Okay, let's put these out of the way. I don't need those anymore. See how I worked a gap in there? Just wiggle it back and forth and up and down and all around, and if you don't have a gasket set on order, then you hope to hell that you're not destroying the gasket. 9 times out of 10, that's kind of what happens here. I don't know if heating this thing up ever helped it or not. I just know that it always took a lot of effort to do this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just move on to taking this front housing off. Maybe giving it a break and giving my hand a break will make it easier. Who knows? We'll see. So that's the only thing that is a drawback here. Sometimes these things loosen up. Am I still in the center here? I haven't looked up in a while. Now, since I'm shooting with 2 cameras, I'm probably not going to be swapping back and forth between shots. I'll just go with whichever one looks better. Wow, it's really pouring outside. There's a storm that just blew up outside, and I've got my porch door open. And I got a battery that's running low. I'm at 14 minutes already. There's our crankshaft. The gasket's destroyed on there. Got a little noise to them. Let's just push this piston out of here. Nice little caramel coloring under there. Now this is held in place with these little retaining rings, little wire retainers. I really don't like those at all. Those things are so easy to lose. And so difficult to find, even if you've got a really powerful magnet and a good idea of where it went, which 90% of the time you don't have a good idea where it went. So, will I be taking that apart? Heck no, I'm not, because we got good freedom of movement here. I'm not going to take that apart. And I really would like to get this off here real quick, so you can see the timing gears. There we go. So, you may say, cool, what's the timing? Can't tell you. Because 100% of the time that I've disassembled an Enya 4-stroke engine, the gears have come off and stayed in the case, in the rear cover. You time the engine here. So I can't tell you if it was timed right. Well, yes I can. It ran well, so it was timed right. Now the gears, or the timing gears on these guys, on the smaller engines, are different. You have an exhaust. This is an intake, and you've got the exhaust. And then, of course, they kind of overlap, so it like this. See how they're lined up straight there? So when they're in the case, they overlap. So that's what makes timing these a little more difficult, because you got to get this one. You put this one in first and time it, and then you got to kind of pull it up and put this one on there. Or is it the other way around? No, yeah, I think you always put this one on first, time it. Then you got to try and get this one on there and keep them both timed. It's kind of a pain, because it's like one of these deals where you're doing this. Anyway, let me see if I can get this thing out here real quick. Timing shaft is out. There we go. See that bearing in there? That one's got to come out. See this little bearing in there? That one's got to come out. See the cam followers? Just push them down and drop them out. Again, a lot of times you'll find that the cam followers are stuck in this. So yeah, getting this bearing out can be kind of challenging, because the only way to do it is heat and cool this thing up and cycle it and then slam it on something like a hard wood block. But if you heat it up enough, that'll work. This one, I think I might be able to get an edge in there. Yeah, this one you can kind of get a little edge on, so I can use a punch to get that out. I'm not going to go into bearing removal here on this video, since I'm already at 19 minutes. So we're just going to leave this at this point, Jeremy, and I hope this was enough to satisfy your curiosity on disassembling a Enya 46 4-cycle engine. And that'll do it for tonight.